Hello, and a warm welcome to our show, Love Athletics. In this program, we bring you the latest highlights from our sport with expert input from different continental areas. A lot happened since our last show, and we start our review of the athletics news of the past fortnight with the very best, and usually a throwing event, which saw a fabulous world record and a host of other great performances. We had spoken about the Oklahoma Throws series in Ramona, and Anderson Emerald had explained why the town of just over 500 inhabitants is a thrower's paradise. On 10 April, Australia's Matthey Denny, who first broke 70 meters in that town on 6 April, had notched up an impressive series of 6 throws all over 71 meters, of which 3 over 73 meters, capping it with 74 meters 25 to improve his own area record. The Olympic bronze medalist had thus come within 10 centimeters of his stated objective to break the world record held since last year by Lithuania's Mykolas Alekna. On 13 April at the Oklahoma Throws Series World Invitational, Denny did achieve his goal, throwing further than Alekna's mark of 74.35 as he heaved his implement to a massive Oceania record of 74 meters 78. But Alekna went even further, surpassing his own world record in the very first attempt with 74.89, then extending it further in the fourth round, breaking the 75 meters barrier with a humongous throw of 75.56. That mark is worth a result score of 1,347 points. To put that into perspective, only 2 male world record holders have ever achieved higher scores: Železny in the javelin and Usain Bolt with his 100 and 100-meter world records. We'll get into the details later, but for the moment, let's stick to the 13 April competition, which was truly outstanding, with 5 men throwing over 70 meters and 7 over 69 meters. As Anderson had explained, the town is quite windy, and the breezes were particularly strong that weekend, reaching 70 kilometers per hour, which helps the discus stay longer in the air. A day earlier, on 12 April, the women had also achieved excellent results. Double Olympic champion Valarie Allman threw a huge 73 meters 52, the longest throw since 1989, to add 2 meters to her PB and take back the NACAC record, which Cuba's Jaime Perez had set at 73 meters 09 last year. Yes, of course, in Ramona. Allman moves to number 5 in the all-time list, and although the mark is not a world record, it is worth a result score of 1,321 points. So let's go back to the historical perspective and check out all the top all-time world record result scores for both men and women. So among the men, as we said, it's Jan Železny who tops the list. His 98 meters 48 in the javelin are worth an impressive 1,365 points. Then we have Usain Bolt's 100-meter world record in Berlin, 1,356. Third on the list, not a world record holder, also a javelin thrower, Johannes Vetter of Germany. Sorry, I have a wrong country there. In Poland in September 2020, that's worth 1,355, just 3 points more than Usain Bolt's 200-meter world record. And then we have Mykolas Alekna. Now, behind him, Mike Powell's 995 in the long jump, Mondo Duplantis' 627 in the pole vault, and Karsten Warholm's 45.94. So among the men, Alekna's performance is the 5th best ever. And, when you get so close to Usain Bolt territory, the mark is exceptional. And it beats, as we said, other impressive world records by Powell, Duplantis, and Karsten Warholm. Among the women, I only included world records in each event, as there are many very long but somewhat dubious marks dating back to the 80s, especially in the throw. So head of the list is East Germany's Gabriele Reinsch. Her discus flew to 76 meters 80, and that's worth 1,382 points. Then we have another thrower, Natalia Lisovskaya, 1,372. Long jumper Galina Chistiakova, 1,333. Heptathlon Jackie Joyner, her 7,291 points in the combined events are worth 1,331. And then Sydney McLaughlin, her latest world record is worth 1,322. And just behind her, Valarie Allman, with her 73 meters 52, just 1 point less, 1,321. Then we have Jaroslava Maruchik in the high jump, Agnes Jebet-Ngetic with her fabulous 10K world record in Valencia in January 24. Florence Griffith-Joyner, her time of 10.94 is now well behind 1,314 points. And then Ruth Chepengetic, whose marathon world record last year in Chicago is worth 1,312 points with the new scoring tables. It used to be 1,339. So you fully understand how great Allman's performance is when you note that McLaughlin Levroni's world record is just worth 1 more point. So these figures beg the question, why is the discus not included in the new athletics competitions handing out huge amounts of prize money? In Grand Slam track, there's a logic. The series includes only track events. Now, World Athletics Ultimate Championships do comprise throwing events, but unexplainably, according to athletics logic, not the 2 best, discus and shot put. So I sincerely hope that World Athletics will see the light and include these 2 events in next year's inaugural Ultimate Championships, because it would be a huge shame not to have the very best throwers, and in fact, some of the very best athletes of all time at this competition. So let's go back now to other stadium events in chronological order, starting with the second Continental Tour Gold Meeting of the year, held on 12 October in Gaborone, the Botswana Golden Grand Prix. Home crowds were, of course, thrilled to see their star, Letsile Tebogo, running his first 200 meter of the year, win in 20.23. But South Africa's Sinesifo Dambile was faster in another race in 20.01. And overall, the best performance of the meet came from another South African, Akani Simbine, who stormed to a 9.90 world lead in the 100 meters, despite a headwind of 1.4 meters per second in his first competition since taking silver at the World Indoors, finishing well ahead of Kenya's Ferdinand Omanyala, who closed in 10 flat. Moving to the next meet in the U.S. in Gainesville, the Tom Jones Memorial on 18-19 April, there were several very good performances, but the absolute star of day one was St. Lucia's Julian Alfred, who won the 200 in a sizzling 21.88, far ahead of runner-up Favor Ofili, 22.34. The race was to her 200 meters debut, but the 100-meter Olympic champion had already competed over 300 meters in Miramar 2 weeks earlier, where she had soundly defeated double 200-meter world champion Shericka Jackson 36.05 to 36.13. In the second day, high hurdler Trey Cunningham, the World Championship silver medalist in 2022, inflicted a rare defeat on Grant Holloway with 13.09 to 13.18. Next, we move to the Australian Athletics Championships held in Perth on 10 to 13 April. And one of the biggest stars there was teenage sprinter Gout Gout, who ran in the 200 in 19.84 with a tailwind of plus 2.2 meters per second, slightly above the limit. The mark, of course, is irregular, but it should be noted that only one athlete has run faster in any condition, and that's Ariane Knighton. The American holds the world under 20 record with 19.69. His 19.49 was not recognized as a record, though the mark stands, and has 7 performances faster than Gout and 2 marks tied with him at 19.84. And all of Knighton's marks are regular. 3 days earlier, Gout had won the under 20 100-meter in a wind-aided 9.99 with a 2.6 meter per second wind, tying the time he had set in the heats with an even stronger wind of 3.5 meters per second. The other top result at the Australian Championships came from 800-meter runner Peter Ball, who clocked 1:43.79 to set the Oceania record, taking 200ths off the previous best by Joseph Deng in 2023. Among the women, double world indoors champion Nicola Olislagers equaled the world lead of 2 meters 01, which Jaroslava Maruchik had set in February. So let's move now to road races, which saw a very busy fortnight. Starting on the weekend of 12 and to 13 April, the European running championships were held in Belgium, in Brussels, Leuven. They comprised races over the 10K, half marathon, and the marathon. Half marathons were held on day 1 and saw 2 countries, France and Belgium, take 2 medals each in the men's and women's race, respectively. Jimmy Gressier put on an impressive show of strength in only his 3rd outing at the distance and his first since 2023, leading from gun to tape. Until the 15th kilometer, in spite of the hilly course, he was on target to better the European record held by Julian Vanders since 2018. Racing alone from 10 kilometers, the Frenchman, however, could not keep up the pace, and the record slipped away as he closed in 59.45, well over a minute ahead of Norway's Awet Iftalem Ibrab and 2 minutes ahead of compatriot Valentin Gondouin. France also took the team title, and while Spain and Italy completed the podium. Now, Gressier had hinted at the pre-event press conference that his celebration would reveal his plans for the outdoor season. As he reached the finish line, he gestured for the organizers holding the tape to lower it and proceeded to hurdle over it. Sacré Jimmy. He then confirmed that after a fabulous month of February, which saw him set 2 very high-quality national records in the 3,000 and 5,000, plus an area record over the 5K road race, and now, of course, his European half-marathon title, he plans to tackle the 3,000-meter herd steeplechase in the coming months, an event he only raced once in 2010. The women's race saw a double joy for the home crowd as the Belgian duo of Chloé Herbier and Juliette Thomas were in the lead from the early stages and held their ground until the tape, buoyed by the vocal support of the fans lining the course. Herbier closed in 1 hour 10:43 and Thomas in 1:10:57. They were joined on the podium by Italy's Sara Nestola. 2 events were contested on day 2, the 10K and the 5 marathon, and Saturday's sun gave way to wind and a light drizzle. The men's K saw another dominant display by French runners. France's Etienne Daguinot, who briefly held the European record at the distance last year, and Belgium's Isaac Kimeli mostly set the pace in front, with Jan Schrub biding his time just behind them. When Schrub, the 2023 Eurocross winner and twice a 10,000-meter medalist at the European Championships, hit the front at the 9-kilometer mark, the others could not respond. Schrub completed the course in 27:37, Daguinot took silver in 27:46, and Kimeli chalked up another medal for the host country in 27:58. Another Frenchman, Fabien Palcot, finished close behind Kimeli in 4th to complete the country's triumph. Other team medals went to Spain and Belgium. Switzerland's European 10,000-meter champion Dominic Loquignon-Molobalo, one of the pre-race favorites, stepped off the course at the 8th kilometer when he was in the chasing group. In the women's 10K race, on the other hand, favorite Nadia Battocletti lived up to expectations, closing in 31:10 to take her 4th continental title in less than a year on 3 different surfaces after her 5,000, 10,000-meter double on track last June and the cross-country title in December. Slovenia's Clara Lukan boasted the fastest time among entries, and she pushed the pace with Battocletti in the early stages. In the final kilometer, unheralded German Eva Dieterich placed a perfectly timed surge to pass a tiring Lukan and claim silver in 31:25, just 1 second ahead of the Slovenian. Italy placed 2 other athletes in the top 10, Sofia Jeremchuk in 7th and Valentina Gemetto in 9th, to also grab team gold, while the other team medals went to Germany and France. For Gemetto, it was not the only joy, as her boyfriend Paolo Aymar proposed after she crossed the finish line. The championships concluded with the marathons, which started in Brussels and ended in Leuven, and both saw pre-race favorites defeated. In the women's race, a lead pack of 4 athletes had formed since the halfway mark, including Spaniards Fatima Ouadou Nafi and Majida Mayouf, as well as Belgium's Hanne Verbruggen and Israel's experienced Lorna Chemutai Salpeter, a bronze medalist at the 2022 World Championships and on the podium at 3 World Marathon Majors. Verbruggen faded to 12th at the 4th kilometer, later accusing Salpeter and Mayouf of verbal intimidation from around the 18th kilometer, as her 2 opponents claimed, falsely according to the Belgian, that she had taken refreshment outside the official zone and had repeatedly called her a cheater and shouted they would make sure she was disqualified, which, of course, didn't happen. At that point, Ouadou, who had fallen after a collision with a male club runner towards mid-race, was leading by 5 seconds over her compatriot Mayouf and continued to extend her lead, closing in 2 hours 27:14 to become the first Spanish woman to take the European marathon title, 27 seconds ahead of Mayouf and 42 seconds clear of Salpeter, who very nearly remained off the podium after a searing attack in the final stages by her compatriot Maor Tivuri, but managed to hold on with both athletes awarded the same time. The team title went, of course, to Spain, whose third scorer, Esther Navarrete, finished seventh, while the minor medals went to Israel and Belgium. Among the men, Israel had a formidable squad, including World Championship silver medalist Maro Teferi, but Italy's Ilas Awani stayed with them throughout the race and sprinted at the right moment as his rivals began to fade, closing in 2 hours 09:05, making his first international medal, a gold, following in the footsteps of marathon greats Gelindo Bordin and Stefano Baldini, as well as Daniele Meucci, earning street redemption after missing the Olympic marathon last year. Gashwayale was 3 seconds behind, and Teferi a further 9 seconds adrift. Israel took the team title ahead of Belgium and Turkey. Now, to conclude our review of the European Running Championships, let's take a look at the medal table. So France leads the table with 4 golds, 2 individual and 2 team, and a total of 7 medals. Italy has 3 golds, also 2 individual golds, and 6 medals overall. Spain, 2 golds, 1 an individual event. Belgium, also 2 golds and 1 individual gold. And the countries have 6 and 7 medals overall, respectively. Israel, 1 gold in the men's team marathon. Germany, 2 silvers. Then we have Norway with 1 silver, and Slovenia and Turkey with 1 bronze medal each. Overall, 5 countries took gold and 9 countries won at least 1 medal. Host country Belgium topped the points rankings, where points are attributed for places 1 to 8, with 75 points, ahead of Spain, 67, Italy, 63, France, 56, Israel, 49, and Portugal, 27. Now, there was also an interesting novelty in Leuven, with a separate ranking by country, where the top 25 scorers in each race, including both elite athletes and club runners, all contributed to their country's ranking. And in total, some 28,000 recreational runners took part in the 3 distances over the weekend. On that same Sunday, the Rotterdam Marathon was also contested and saw Kenya's Jeffrey Kamworor, a triple world cross and triple world half marathon champion, dominating the field to clinch his 3rd marathon victory in a fast 2 hours 04:33 on the Dutch city's flat course, well ahead of the Ethiopian pair of Chala Regassa 2:05:06 and Chimdesa Debele 2:05:26. The women's race was not as fast, but also saw a dominant performance by the winner, Kamworor's compatriot Jacqueline Cherono, who finished in 2 hours 21:14, exactly 1 minute ahead of Ethiopian Aminet Ahmed and 1 additional second over Asmera Gebru. On 21 April, the 2nd World Marathon Major of the year took place in Boston, and the Kenyan pair of Sharon Lokedi and John Courier were crowned, both with very fast times, especially in the women's race, where US-based Lokedi, their runner-up here last year, took a huge 2 minutes, 37 seconds off the course record, which dated back to 2014. Now, unfortunately for the 2022 New York Marathon champion, marks established in Boston cannot be ratified for record purposes due to the point-to-point nature of the course. Lokedi was always in the lead group, which had set a fast pace from the start and was down to 5 women around mid-race, Lokedi, defending champion Helen Obiri, London 2022 winner Yalemzerf Yehuala, world champion Amane Beriso, and Irene Cheptai. First Cheptai, then Beriso fell behind, leaving Lokedi, Obiri, and Yehuala to fight it out. The Ethiopian was the next to fade with just over 3 kilometers to go, with Lokedi making a final push with 1 kilometer to the finish to triumph in 2 hours 17:22 to 2:17:41 for Obiri, who could not achieve her dream of a Boston three-peat. Yehuala closed in 2:18:06, also well inside the previous course record. In the men's race, Chicago 2024 winner John Courier suffered a fall in the very first stages of the race after being clipped, but picked himself up and was in the larger lead group, which had passed around the 10K mark in a very fast 28:52, a pace which later slowed down a little. Defending champion Sisai Lema withdrew around 28K, as the USA's Connor Mance continued to mostly set the pace, but a few minutes later, Courier attacked, shattering the pack to take a decisive lead. By 37K, he was about 40 seconds clear of the chasing group, which included Berlin 2024 second placer Kotut, Ethiopia's double world 5,000 meter champion Mukhtar Idris, Tanzania's World Championship bronze medalist Alphonse Felix Simbu, and Olympic 8th place Mance. Courier's lead whittled in the final stages, but he still finished well clear of his rival in 2 hours 04:45, repeating the success of his elder brother Wesley Courier in 2012 to become the first siblings to win the world's oldest annual marathon. In the sprint for other placings, Simbu just edged out Cyprian Kotut, with both given the same time of 2:05:04. Mance finished fourth in 2:05:08, while Idris closed in 2:05:59, fifth in his marathon debut. Not bad at all. Outside the top elite athletes, an impressive finisher was 2018 winner Desiree Linden, aged now 41, who finished 17th in 2 hours 26:19 in her fastest marathon since 2016. And another great legend, former world record holder Paula Radcliffe, aged 59, clocked 2:53:44, improving on the time she had run in Tokyo in March, 2:57:26. However, after Boston, Radcliffe announced that she would end her return to racing, writing on Instagram, "That's me signing out on the roads now. Lesson learned that my body is done with that." Congratulations in any case, Paula, for giving it a shot. So let's move now to another aspect of road races, race walks. On Sunday 13 in Prato at the Italian Club Championships, contested under a light drizzle, Massimo Stano, the 2022 35K world champion and 2021 Olympic champion at 20K, set a European record of 37:33.03 over the 10,000 meters, a huge improvement of 20 seconds on the previous mark, which had belonged to Spain's Francisco Fernandez since 2008. The performance is also the third best mark of all time. Francisco Fortunato, who had set the 5,000 race walk short track world record in February, was battling with Stano throughout the race, but had to concede in the last lap, completing his effort in 37:34.90 to move to number 4 in the all-time list, and of course number 2 in the continental rankings. Both Stano and Fortunato are from the southern Italian region of Puglia, as is Giuseppe Di Sabato, the world under-20 bronze medalist, who is still only 18, clocked 39:24.99 to move to number 8 in the under-20 all-time list. So that's it for the review of road events and stadium events. And let's look now at the Laureus Sports Awards. The winners of the 2024 awards were announced on Monday 21st in Madrid. Pole vaulter Mondo Duplantis was the lone representative of our sport for the Sportsman of the Year award, but was the winner, ahead of megastars from other sports, including tennis players Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, swimmer Léon Marchand, cyclist Tadej Pogačar, and Formula One pilot Max Verstappen. 3 athletes had been nominated for the Sportswoman of the Year award: Sifan Hassan, Faith Kipyegon, and Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, but the accolade went to gymnast Simone Biles. Athletics also had 2 nominees for the Breakthrough of the Year, Lestile Tebogo and Julian Alfred, but the award went to younger football talent Lamine Yamal, still only 17, who shone with both his club Barcelona and the Spanish national team in the Euro 2024. So it's time now to go back to the global overview of our sport and check all the best results since the last show, starting with the senior men's events. We'll continue adding in brackets marks which are regular, which are listed in the respected website Tila Stopaya, but do not appear on the World Athletics list. We're also slightly lowering off the cutoff this week to a result score of 1,220 instead of 1,230. So among the men, 100 meters, 9.90 Akani Simbine in Gaborone, that's worth 1,249. There were also 2 athletes who clocked a 9.96, Kayinsola Ajayi of Nigeria in Gainesville and Akeem Blake of Jamaica in Kingston. On 200 meters, Zimbabwe's Makana Kaishe Charamba continues to do extremely well after a fantastic indoor season. In Gainesville, he ran in 19.99. And in Gaborone, as we saw, Sinefiso Dambile, 20.01. Over 200 meter, a windy mark, as we said earlier, by Gout, 19.84 in Perth. That is number 2 on the under 20 all-time list under any conditions. Over 400 meters, Chris Robinson of Australia clocked 44.15 in Gainesville, while Jacori Patterson ran in 44.27. Bryce Dedmond in College Station, 44.30. And Baya Pondori in his home in Gaborone had run in 44.35. 110 hurdles, as we saw, Trey Cunningham defeated Grant Holloway in Gainesville. In the discus, we have this absolute long list of fabulous marks. Mykolas Alekna's world record of 75.56, as we said, is worth 1,343 points. Other marks over the 1,300 points, Matthey Denny on the 13th, behind Alekna with 74.78, and with 74.25 3 days earlier, he had already had a fabulous throw. Also on the 13th, Sam Mattis, Clemens Prufer, and Lawrence Okoye, all between 1,259 and 1,268. Then again, Sam Mattis on the 10th, Mika Sosna also on the 10th. They had both thrown just over 70 meters, as well as Mika Sosna on the 13th. Throwers with very good marks over 69 meters. Henrik Jansen of Germany, Claudio Romero of Chile, Shaquille Emanuelson, and Stephen Richter. So fantastic performances. Connor Bell of New Zealand also over 69.51. 69 meters for Colombia's Mauricio Ortega, and 68.92 for Henrik Jansen. So today our top marks are dominated by the discus. In the marathon, as we saw, 2 hours 04:33 for Jeffrey Camoror. Now, I've included the marks from Boston, but of course they don't have a result score because they're not valid for rankings. So, but they were very good performances. John Corrier, as we saw, 2 hours 04:45. Alphonse Felix Simbu and Cyprian Kotut, both with 2:05:04, and Connor Mance 05:08. Then we have marks by Bernard Biwott in Paris on the 13th of April, 2:05:25, as well as the second and third placed in Rotterdam, Chimdesa Debele and Kennedy Kimutai. In the 10,000 meters race walk, as we saw, Massimo Stano moves to number 3 in the all-time list. His European record is worth 1,235 points. And just behind him, Francisco Fortunato with 1,234. So top men's performance of 2025 is now, of course, Mykolas Alekna's fabulous discus world record. Among the women, top marks, starting with the sprints, Julian Alfred with 21.88. That is worth 1,250 points, a great mark. In the 400 meter also in Gainesville, Aliyah Butler, who had performed very well indoors, ran in 49.44. Over the hurdles, 2 marks behind the one, of course, that Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone had set at Grand Slam track in Kingston, but good marks by Savannah Sutherland, 53.46, and Rachel Glenn, 53.48 in Gainesville. In the high jump, as we saw, Nicola Ollislagers equaled the world lead of 2 meters 01. In the discus, we also have some very, very good throws among the women. Valarie Allman, her 73 meters 52 is worth, as we saw, 1,321 points. Behind her, Lolaga Tosaga Collins with 70 meters 72. That's the second best performance of the fortnight with 1,269 points, but also very good marks for Jaden Ulrich with 69.39 meters and Veronica Fraley 68.72. And there were also good marks in Ramona in the hammer throw, 78 meters 80 by Rachel Richardson, and also a good mark by Canada's Cameron Rogers, 78 meters 14 in Walnut. And in the marathon, we have 3 performances without a result score from Boston. Sharon Lokedi, 2 hours 17:22. Helen O'Beary, 2:17:41. And Yalemzer Fuyehwala, 2:18:06. So top women's performance of 2025 is also now from the fabulous discus competitions in Ramona, eclipsing all previous marks. So let's move now to under 20 and under 18 athletes, where there were also some good performances over the past fortnight. Starting with the under 20, In the 100 meter, there was a very good 10:02 by Christian Miller on 19 April in Gainesville. That's better than the number 13 mark on the all-time list, but of course he has the number 3. Over 100 meters, there were also some excellent windy performances. Those by Braden Williams are in brackets because World Athletics still doesn't have them. But in Waco, Texas, 9:82, and in the heats and 9:95 for Braden Williams. There was also, as we saw, twice 9.99 by Gout at the Australian Championships in Perth. So 200 meters, we already mentioned 19.84 windy by Gout. And on the hurdles, a very good mark of 13.41 by Yuanjiang Chen of China, who moves to number 8 in the under 20 all-time lists. And over 10,000 meter race walk, we've mentioned Giuseppe Di Sabato, moving to number 8 on the under 20 all-time list. There were also some interesting marks in the pole vault, though they're not as great as the others, but they still come very close to the top 15. In the pole vault, Anna Willis cleared 4 meters 50 and moves to number 18, equal on the under 20 all-time list. And in the discus, Canada's Julia Tunks in Ramona, of course, with 62 meters 95, moves to number 16 on the under 20 all-time list. Then we have heptathlete Sofia Yakushina. Now, you remember she had moved to number 3 in the under 20 all-time list in the indoor pentathlon. So outdoors in the hepta, she totaled the 6,260 points to move to number 13 in the under 20 all-time list. So as we saw, among the under 20 boys, the most interesting mark of the fortnight belongs to 18-year-old Braden Williams with his windy 9.82, yes, into a very strong headwind of 6 meters per second. It was a storm practically in the heats at the Michael Johnson Invitational, and 9.95 in the final, also with a wind-aided 4.1 meters per second. So 9.82 is the 4th mark ever in all conditions. So it looks like we have another athlete on our list of young, talented sprinters to keep an eye on. Among the under 18s, now this is interesting because marks came mainly in the relays. So at the Asian under 20 championships in the sprint medley, 151.68 for People's Republics of China under 18. They move to number 6 on the under 18 all-time list. India, 152.15, moved to number 9. And Saudi Arabia, 152.36, moved to number 10. Among the women, we had spoken a lot about Choma Nawachukwu in the 400 meters. She had set some fantastic times indoors, and she had already run very fast outdoors with 51.44. Well, she improved that to 51.26, moving to number 11 on the under 18 all-time list. Now, 4x400 meters at the Australian Championships. This is bizarre, but there are 2 Australian regional teams who make the under 18 top 10 of all times. Queensland with 44.70 would be number 5, and Western Australia with 44.84 would be number 10 and the under 18 all-time list. So that's it for our review of all the top performances. Let's move now to cool athletics news. And I'd like, first of all, to congratulate Kenya's Mark Kipto, who at age 48 took an unprecedented third consecutive victory in the Zurich Marathon, winning in 2 hours 09:16, just 4 seconds off the Masters over 45 record of 2:09:12, which he had set on the same course in 2023. The Kenyan calls Zurich his second home, and not just the marathon course, as his brother lives not too far away in Thun. Kipto was a talented cross-country runner and a distance runner, and continues to excel at the sport he loves, ignoring the passage of time. When he attacked at 30K, the lead group could not respond, and the multiple African Championships medalist at 5 and 10,000 went on a solitary cavalcade to win by more than 2 minutes over compatriot Joel Cositani to 11:25, and Habtom Amaniel, a member of the athlete refugee team, third on his debut in 2 hours 11:27. Kipto had run his first marathon in 2013 and boasts a PB of 2 hours 06 flat set in 2015. Congratulations, Mark Kipto. Another athlete still going strong after 40, though younger than Kipto, is high jumper Donald Thomas. The Bahamian, the 2007 world champion, has always relished a challenge and created surprises. Initially a basketball player, he had started high jump in 2006 when challenged by athletes from the track team of his Missouri University, clearing 198 on his first ever jump and 2 meters 13 on his third ever jump. The athletes who had dared him were so impressed that they sought out the head track coach. And just 2 months after that first jump, Thomas finished 4th in the Commonwealth Games, competing in shoes without spikes. And the following summer, he took World Championships gold with 2 meters 35. Thomas is still competing as he approaches his 41st birthday next July. On 10 April at the West Asian Club Championships in Doha, the Bahamian, representing a Qatari club, won his event with 2 meters 25. The Masters over 40 record belongs to Dragutin Topic with 2:28, and the Serbian, who now coaches his daughter Angelina, also holds the Master over 35 record with 2 meters 31, as well as still holds the world under 20 record with 2 meters 37. So congratulations, Donald Thomas and Dragutin Topic. And finally, congratulations to Ryan Krauser, the triple Olympic and double world champion shot putter, will today launch his World Shot Put series at the Drake Relays, with rules resembling the high jump, as athletes will have 2 chances to send the shot further than a fixed distance, which increases with every round. We will discuss the World Shot Put series in detail in the next show, but in the meantime, kudos to Krauser for setting up this competition instead of simply lamenting the exclusion of field events from GST and of the shot from the Ultimate Championships. And as for the discus, I really hope World Athletics will change their mind and include the 2 best throws in their event. But in the meantime, very best wishes and congratulations to Krauser. There is also some sad news, as several protagonists of the world of athletics have left us. We have not prepared screens this time, but 2 great coaches have recently passed away. On 6 April, Wolfgang Mayer, coach and husband of 400 meters world record holder Marita Koch died at the age of 82. 8 days later, on 14 April, Cuban middle distance runner turned coach Leandro Civil Jarvis died in Havana at the age of 77 following a heart attack. As an athlete, Civil had earned many medals at Pan American and Central American championships in the 800 and 4x400 relay. And as a coach, his most successful athlete was double 800-meter world champion Ana Fidelia Quirot. Rest in peace, Wolfgang Mayer. Descansa en paz, Leandro Civil. So let's look now at upcoming events as we reach the end of our show. So today, Drake relays start in Des Moines in Iowa. Tomorrow, the Penn relays in Philadelphia. 27 to 25 April, South American Championships in Mar del Plata, Argentina. 26 April, the first meet of the Diamond League in Xiamen, China. 27 April, TCS London Marathon. On 2 to 4 May, the second leg of Grand Slam track in Miami. And on 3 May, the second meet of the Diamond League in Shanghai, Kekiao. 4 May, Korzeniowski Warsaw Race Walking Cup, World Race Walking Tour Gold event. Then there's a bit of a pause until 16 May with the Doha Diamond League meeting. 17-18 May are the Pan Am Race Walking Championships in San Borondón, Ecuador. 18 May, the European Race Walking Team Championships in Podebrady, Czech Republic, as well as the Tokyo Golden Grand Prix World Continental Tour Gold event, and the Jilin City Marathon. 22 to 24 May, Boris Hanzekovich Memorial in Zagreb, moved from its traditional date in September. On 23 May, the Janusz Kuzocinski Memorial in Chorzów. The next day, European 10,000 meters Cup in Passy, France. 24 May, Track Fest in Los Angeles. 25 meeting, another Diamond League, meeting International Mohammed V in Rabat in Morocco, as well as the Langzhou Marathon. 27 to 31 May, Asian Athletics Championships. 30 May, Irena Shewinska Memorial in Bydgoszcz. 30 May to 1st June, third leg of Grand Slam track in Philadelphia. 30 May, the Tsatumas Street long jump in Kalamata. 31st May, Kip Keino Classic in Nairobi, World Continental Tour Gold, and World Continental Events Gold in Goodseas on 31 May and 1st June. 31st May is also the Canarias Athletics Invitational. On the 1st of June, the International Grand Prix Madrid Marcha. Also, the Goldeness Oval in Dresden in Germany. High-level athletics returns to the German city. The high-low javelin meeting in Offenburg in Germany. The Opolski Festival Sokoków in Poland. On 2 June, Palio Città della Quercia. These are all Continental Tour silver meets. And on 3 June, the Trond Mon Games in Bergen. 6th of June, Diamond League moves to Rome with the Golden Gala. 7 June, more race walking in Spain with the Premio Cantones de A Coruña. 7 June, also the Racers Grand Prix in Kingston. 8 June, Internationales Fing Sportfest Rehlingen in Germany. And on 9 June, the Fanny Blankers-Kuhn meet in Hengelo. 10 June, Filotei Women Gala. 11-12, JBL Jump Fest in Kosice. 11 to 14 June, NCAA Division I Outdoor Championships. And on 12 June, the Oslo Bislett Games Diamond League meet. So we're now at the end of our program. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Tomorrow I head to China for the first two Diamond League meets, and we'll post athlete interviews from there. Thank you all for watching, and see you for the regular Love Athletics show in about 2 weeks to look together at the highlights, comments, and analysis of what's been happening in our sport over the past fortnight. Thank you. Bye-bye.